All right, good morning, everybody. As you know, I'm Crazy Mrs. Fletcher. We have Crazy Mr. Fletcher over there at the camera. I would like to introduce you to my friend. Her first name is Yasue. Could you please say Yasue? Yasue. Okay, Miss Yasue lives in the United States now, but she didn't come to the United States until she was starting high school, and as a teenager, she came as a foreign exchange student. So she's a good person to talk to about what is culture like in Japan, how is it different from the culture of the United States, what are the good things, what are the bad things. Are you ready to start? Okay. Ms. Yasue, meet Tomas Rivera.
Hello.
Okay.
Konnichiwa. Can you say konnichiwa?
Okay, there it is, right there. One more time, all together.
Konnichiwa.
Okay, and what does it mean? Okay, now, I'm not going to make you do it now, but if we were in Japan, I would have made you stand up and do a partial bow out of respect. We'll talk about that later. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, let's start. Well, last year, you had Miss Vivian come to your school when we had fun. Remember? Lots of people remember.
Microphone, please.
Sorry. Yeah. So here I am. Behind Miss Vivian is kind of a daunting job, but I try my best, so bear with me. Okay, so this is a map of Japan, and you can see kind of a narrow and long. This is about a little bit smaller than California. Japan is a little bit small, but what's different about that is California, you know the approximate population of California? About 40 million, 40. Here in this small country like this, we have 127 million.
Whoa.
Yeah. So you can kind of, picture all these people in a small place. On top of that, only 17% of the land is habitable. So why is so small? Because it's a big, tall mountain range way out there. So these areas you cannot live. Only the outside, near the ocean, you can, the flat land, you can live. So, next. And this is the flag of Japan. What does it look like?
Red circle.
What in nature looks like a red circle? Somebody said it over here, the sun.
Sun, yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a rising sun. That's the symbol of Japan. Rising sun. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Maybe is there an area that I can talk about? Little politics.
Sure.
This may be a good time. In the United States, you vote for president, right? Everybody 18 years old or you can vote. In Japan, we vote for parties or political parties. Here in this country, how many political parties do you have? How many? Two major ones. Yeah. And then somebody want to run for independent, that's another, but it's not a party. Well, in Japan, the difference is we have so many political parties. And right now, we have 10 of them. And, it's sometimes, what happened to that party? Oh, that's disappeared, kind of thing. So the major ones are maybe half dozen. But so right now it's 10. And people vote for the parties rather than the politician. And then the party that has most members get to choose prime minister. So Japanese people do not elect directly the prime minister. That's the
So basically, they want to get the party that they think has the same values they do.
Yes.
And if their party gets in, then the party decides, he'd be a good prime
Yes,
minister.
exactly. So that's a big difference.
Okay.
Okay? All right. Next one.
And the next one, that's the harbor, you can see the flag,
Mm-hmm.
and the next one.
Beautiful. There's another flag with moon.
Rising sun, and what's above it?
Mhm.
Okay.
Moon and a sun, here we are. Who are those people? Well, they used to be a crown prince and Princess Michiko, but now he is actually our emperor and empress. And this picture is taken at their wedding, 1959. Then they are 25 years old. The most interesting is that the crown prince's wife is usually chosen from nobility, people who are royal people.
Other
royal
princesses and
yeah.
things.
Except he fell in love with this lady who is a commoner. Commoner became a royal princess, which has never done before in the
Where did they
Japanese
meet?
history. What's that?
Where did they meet?
They met at the tennis court of this very posh resort town where lots of wealthy families kept vacation homes. And so they fell in love.
So he broke with tradition. Instead of marrying a princess, he fell in love with a friend that he met at the tennis court. It was a love game. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next one. Now,
There it is
the crown prince that you just saw is the same person here now. A bit older. And then this is his son, crown prince. So, interesting thing is that the end of this April, he is abdicating. You know that word, abdicating?
Means he's giving up his title of the
Yeah.
king or the emperor. I'm not
He's
going
going to retire, He says, I'm too old to do all these duties. It's too taxing. I'm not doing such a good job, so I'd like to retire. So now, May 1st, this crown prince, he's going to be the next emperor.
This is also something new because usually the crown prince takes over as emperor when his father, the emperor, dies.
Right.
But this time he says, no, I'm going to retire. I'm going to sit back, go fishing. I'm going to turn it over to my son. Okay.
Yeah, this is also first in 250 years.
Okay.
But the whole royal family's history goes back to 2,600 years, which is the longest line. Okay, next. Okay, this is Japan. Yeah, these are called prefectures. It's like state. And this is Tokyo here.
Where are you from?
Yes, see? So from here to there is about 500 miles away.
So we have 50 states in the United States. How many prefectures do they have, Gabe? How many?
47.
47, thank you. Next.
Yeah, yeah, I'm glad that it's there. I was thinking, I don't remember.
Thank you.
Okay, next one. Yeah, this is called Mount Fuji.
Have you heard of Mount Fuji?
Yeah, the highest mountain in Japan. And that mountain is actually a volcano, exactly. And erupted in 1709, I believe. After that, it became dormant. So it's a dormant volcano. But dormant doesn't mean it's done,
It's not extinct, it's
Right,
just
it's not
dormant.
extinct. So one of those days might erupt, we don't know. But what difference about this Mount Fuji is the shape. It's just a beautiful, graceful shape. So So everybody look up to it, and it's the highest mountain in Japan. Next.
I got to go on that boat ride on the lake when I wanted to go see Mount Fuji. So tourists get on this boat and they take you around the lake and you have lunch. And you can see beautiful pictures of Mount Fuji.
It's so high that sometimes you cannot see. It's just covered by the cloud.
Yeah.
But this day seems like a lucky day. Somebody could see it. Next. Another picture.
Anybody know what those flowers are that are out right? Yes.
Japanese cherry blossom.
Very good.
Cherry
Japanese
blossom.
cherry blossom.
Right.
Very nice.
Right now, today, 22nd,
Uh-huh.
it started to bloom. Some of the part in Japan, the cherry blossom is everybody just waiting, and they have a big party underneath the cherry blossoms.
Mark?
Yeah.
Next.
Next, yeah. This we're just going to show you some of the Japanese art. This is the wood block art. There's Otamaro, there's very famous pictures.
The Japanese people really like things of beauty. So they admire things that are in nature that are beautiful and beautiful people. Just keep living like. So on these pieces of artwork, whether it's a screen or a wood block or a paper, every one you'll notice has something to do with things that are beautiful.
Nature, yeah. This is another example of a wood block print. Yeah, it's raining, and then that's again Mount Fuji, and with very stylized waves. That's a beautiful.
And these pictures that we took are in a museum, and they've not been done recently. They're hundreds of years old. Some of them are 200, 300, 400 years old.
Right.
What is this?
A picture says I.
And what does it mean?
Love.
It means love. So, boys, you want to write a love letter to your girlfriend? You need to learn how to do that. Okay?
Very impressive.
So this is the Japanese calligraphy. It's done with ink and brush.
Yeah.
So there's how to write love again. And you see this big oblong thing? This is the ink. It's dried up. It's not wet. It's not
You
liquid.
put the water here, and then there's the ink here somewhere.
Yeah.
And then you go like this to make our ink.
Yeah.
So then, this is the brush. You use that brush to dip in, and then write characters like that.
Okay.
Okay? Next. Now, kichi. Kichi means
We all want that.
Good
We
luck.
all want good luck.
yeah, kichi. Yeah. All right?
You see how he's got that brush? How he uses it? The handle part is made of bamboo,
Yeah.
and then the brush comes in different thicknesses.
And the Japanese people are, very few of them are left-handed. The reason is they are corrected when they're a kid because it's very difficult to do with the left-handed. And so everybody tried to change to right-handed.
How many of you in here are left-handed? Raise your hand.
Oh, okay.
Ah, not in Japan. Okay, thank you.
Next one. Yoshi.
Yeah, I feel joy today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Joy. Okay. This is just so many different
See the different
sizes
types of brushes here?
Yeah. Next. Yeah.
This is happiness.
Oku is happiness. So as you can see. All right, next one. Yeah. It's,
Now, when you travel to Japan, you can buy things that have the calligraphy on them. You can get fans or paper parasols, or you'll have a wall hanging, or a piece of cloth. They're all over the place. They're just beautiful. It's a wonderful art form.
yeah.
There's peace.
Yeah, this is peace. This character is often used in somebody's name. And I used to have I had a stepmother with this character.
In her name.
Kazuko-san is this name. And that's a good one. Friend, Tomo, Tomodachi, Tomo, that's a friend. Yeah, next one. And then January 2nd is the day of first writing of the year. So the kids go to school even, and then do the first kakizome, we call it. January 2nd.
So on January 2nd at your school, that would be your day to do the calligraphy, hang up those signs for celebrating calligraphy on that day.
Yeah, next. Yeah. So that's all the kids who are doing that. And then calligraphy is part of the school curriculum in elementary school and middle school too.
Okay,
Yeah.
next. Yeah.
Live laughter.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about origami.
How many of you done origami before? Woo, look at that. All
And
right.
here, somebody made an origami for today's lecture right here, so I appreciate that.
Giant origami.
Yeah, next.
Okay.
Okay. And these are the example. There's a crane and,
Flowers.
yeah, this is
Fan. Yeah.
hat.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, don't ask me to make those. These are very complicated.
Where do you see the next one?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Next one. Oh my goodness.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Gorgeous. Yeah.
Maybe you should all this weekend try to make that. No?
Now this looks like a wedding, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
All right. This is a bride and a groom. The national religion is Shinto, and they're going to the temple for a Shinto wedding. I had the privilege about 25 years ago of going to a Japanese Shinto wedding. So this was so special to me because I was right there while it was happening and I learned so much. I was impressed by the beautiful kimonos and I thought, maybe I'll buy one to take home to the United States. Look at the price tag. School teachers could not buy one to take home to the United States. I need a much bigger raise. Okay.
Well, most of the time, wedding these days, you can rent them.
Yeah.
These are rentals, or if you want to buy it, that's kind of too expensive for everybody, almost everybody in Japan. So rental shop will get you. But even the rental is expensive. $1,000 to $2,000 rental for one day.
Wow.
Yeah, so.
Also, the family that I stay with when I go to Japan, they have 2 daughters. They have one kimono that has been passed down from several generations. So if there's a fancy thing happening that you're invited to a wedding or a special celebration, they have to decide which daughter gets to wear the kimono. So you can go to this wedding, and your sister gets to go to the next wedding.
Okay, next one. Yeah. So these are the names of the parts that I'm not going to say all of it, but you probably heard obi. Have you heard of obi, the big sash? Yeah. When I was wearing it to show how it looks like when I was a high school student, somebody asked me, "What are you carrying in the back?" And the sash comes around and make a big bundle in the back of it. So it looks like you were carrying a baby or something. Yeah. Okay. We may show the obi later, right? The big one. Yeah. And then, well, this man looks like a happy person. This is actually at the celebration of becoming adult. When the year that you're going to be 20 years old, they have a big celebration. All the kids from that town will get together and have a party.
So much like quinceanera, what happens when you're 20,
20
boy
years
or
old.
girl,
Boy and girl.
you dress up in traditional clothing and you go into town and you kind of parade around and show off and party because you're 20 years old now.
20 years
You're
old.
an adult.
Yeah.
Ha, ha,
In America, it's 21.
ha. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or they never go on. Okay,
next one. This is the obi that I was telling you about. This one is kind of complicated, so you really need a professional obi type person to do this. But there's another one that I used to use is a portable one, a portable obi that you kind of stick to it, for the kids can do it themselves.
Kind of like a five-story tie.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Without that, I could not have done. But this one is done by professional. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark?
This is called geta, and these are wooden footwear, and that goes with the kimono. With the kimono, you don't wear shoes like this, So it's always kimono needs geta.
Do you notice that the shoes are not on the floor? You take off your shoes before you go in the house. You would never wear shoes in the house. Very bad manners.
Yeah. Okay, next one. This is a very formal wear for men. And this is called hakama. It's like a trousers. There's a separate one, this one and that way. And then the Howard, like Mrs. Fletcher is wearing.
It is not a skirt, that is actually pants,
Yeah.
but they have wide legs, so the air can still move.
And then you can see he's wearing zori. Not the Western shoes, but Japanese zori.
Okay.
Okay, next one. Ah.
Remember I told you I went to a Shinto wedding? This is not my friend's wedding, but I got to go to one like this, so I know about the ceremony. And that is the traditional costume. They are inside the shrine, and there's lots of prayers, lots of songs, and lots of sake.
And I may have to mention something here. This bride is wearing this kind of a cover. We call it snokakushi. That literally means hiding the horns. Oh my goodness.
Wow. So you marry the girl wearing this, and you think she has no horns, and then she becomes your wife, and she's a little devil?
I thought that was I'm pretty sure that the men decided to do this tradition, So anyway, here we go. And this is just a casual kimono. It's everyday kimono. But you can see, again, they're wearing geta.
And you see how it's off the ground?
Off the ground, yeah.
That's because when it rains, they're not going to get their shoes wet, because it's off the ground.
Yeah.
Next.
Okay.
That's not good news.
Oh, I wonder who this person is. Anybody can guess? You can talk about this.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Mr. Fletcher now.
That's Mr. Fletcher and some beautiful Japanese lady. That's it. What was he doing out with another woman? I don't understand. But I have to tell you, do you remember when you saw the obi bow? She said you have to go to a professional to have it done. That day, the family I was staying with, the mother of that family, that's what she does. And it was a secret, and she took me into this room. I had no idea what was going on. She doesn't speak English. I don't speak Japanese. They started taking off my clothes and trying to put this on me. Usually it wraps. Things don't easily wrap around this body. What they had to do was needle and thread. Wait a minute. Needle and thread. They sewed me into that, which means when I walked, because the opening at the bottom of the kimono didn't allow much room to move your foot. So I just kind of scoot, 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 scoot. And also the obi, she makes it sound so nice and comfortable, fabric. No, underneath this obi, it's worse than a girdle or a corset, a piece of plastic. They put it here, then they start wrapping it tighter, tighter, tighter.
But you can't breathe and it's perfect. Then they put the dress on you and say, smile for the camera.
Well, I think she's doing a pretty good job, don't you think?
Okay, next.
Oh, this is young people. Same in the United States, don't you think?
Yeah, see,
Yeah.
no, I want you to see the boy in the back, though. On your side, Yasue.
Yeah.
What's that on his face, Yasue?
This is called mask, right? In English, also mask. The reason why he's wearing it is either he has a little bit of cold, so he does not infect other kids, or he may be protecting because it's a cold season. So he goes to a crowded area, a lot of people wear his masks.
So remember, the population of Japan, they're so crowded, that's a lot of germs. So that's why some people
So we
wear
go
masks.
to school wearing masks, and you don't have to take it off when you are studying in a class either. So, the teachers are kind of hard because they have to speak, so they cannot wear a mask, but
So the
students
teachers
sometimes.
get sick, we don't get a mask, the teachers get sick, but the kids stay healthy.
Yeah.
Doesn't fair.
This is Japanese money. Yeah.
What is it called? Who knows what they call the money? Is it called a dollar? What's it called? Right back there. Yen.
Right, Y-E-N, yen, exactly. We used to have a lot more paper money, but because of the vending machine all over Japan, all these paper money turn into a coin, so it's easily used to buy things from the vending machine.
How much is a yen worth?
It's, let's see, I would say $1, you can get about 110, 111 yen, but with the exchange fees and stuff, so you can just say dollar is about 100 yen. So we have a shop called 100 yen shop, that means 100 means 100. So it's like Dollar General.
Yeah, my favorite store in Japan is the 100 yen store.
Yeah,
I shop there all the time
yeah.
and bring back presents to my students and I go, thank you. And they go, it only cost me 100 yen.
Yeah, and then the thing is, my husband noticed it, that dollar store here, the quality, and dollar store in Japan are quite different quality. Japanese are very picky. They want everything in a high quality. So the Chinese people who makes stuff to sell at the dollar store, Japanese would not buy it. So the quality is a little better in Japan. Okay, next one. Yeah. Now you can see this 50 yen. That's 1 yen.
Okay, so in order to buy something that would normally be for $1, I would get a 1, a 10, and a 100. Yeah? A 1, a 10, and a 100 would give me 111 yen for $1.
Not quite. Officially it is, but the banks always charge you for some. So it's almost like dollar is only one coin, 100 yen.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so.
Smart.
Okay, we're going to show some of the Japanese instruments. This is called shakuhachi. These are bamboo, and it's a Japanese flute, and it had a very deep, mellow sound.
Do you remember I told you about the wedding, the Shinto wedding, where I was sitting in the room, in the temple, right behind me was the Japanese band that they'd hired, and it had one man with a flute. And it sounded to me like he was right in my ear. So he's going, "Arr!" And then the music stops, and the priest is performing the ceremony. You know what the guy was doing? I hear, boo. I turn around. Remember, it's made of bamboo. The more you blow it, your spit is going to go into the bamboo. The wood would expand, giving it a bad sound. He had a portable hair dryer. So when he wasn't playing it, he's got the hair dryer going, trying to dry out the wood before it's time to do the next song. Strange.
This is called shamisen. How many strings do you see? Three. Yeah. And then,
I like the pick.
yeah, pick. And this is hide from the cat.
For the what?
Cat.
Cat, Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty is big. Oh. Poor Hello Kitty. Okay, next.
This is the Japanese drum, taiko. The large one, small one, they're all called taiko. Yeah. Anybody heard the taiko sound?
Oh,
Yeah, you have, yeah, okay. Beautiful sound. Yeah, next one. This is called koto. There's 13 strings in here. And by putting these bars in different ways, you can make, just like a guitar, you can change the sound. But it's very elegant and
Oh, now we're going to hear about a little girl in Japan named Yasue. Are you ready? Listen to her story. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay. So I told you before, this is Japan and this is the prefecture. Shimane Prefecture is the place I was born. Okay, next one. This is my father. He's about 30 years old, I believe. Yeah.
Handsome, huh?
That's my father. And he's wearing a kimono. Maybe it was New Year's Day or something. All the kimono that I show you, people don't wear it every day. You know, it's a special occasion that people wear kimono these days. Okay, next one. This is my mother. She is probably 20, late 20s, yeah. And I lost my mother when I was only 2 years old.
Her mother died on her second birthday.
Yeah, on my second birthday, yeah. So, anyway. And this is their wedding picture. You can see, again, tsunokakushi, don't you?
I don't see her horns, so she's covered the horns.
She's wearing that bridal horn hider. Yeah. Okay. And my father was a police officer. This is his uniform as a police chief. And he's carrying Japanese sword. This is before the war, so the policeman had a sword.
Okay, next.
This is me at 3 months old, I believe. Yeah. So, and that's Japanese kimono with a big bib. Next. And my father and me. I actually remember the time when this picture was taken. And I thought I was 3 or 4 years old, actually, in my mind. But when I saw the writings, I was only 1 year and 7 months old. And
Next.
and this is my nanny. After my mother died, we hired a housekeeper and nanny. This lady was absolutely wonderful. That's why I did not miss my mother. And I turned out to be okay, despite losing my mother so young. Because
She's sort of like the Japanese Mary Poppins there.
Yeah.
Hana-san.
Hana-san, she stepped in and raised me for 5 years until my father remarried. Yeah. And that's me, kind of all dressed up when my father went to Tokyo, and those are the items that he brought home for me as a gift. And next one. And here, I'm a first grader, and my father at that time, this is the 20th anniversary of his being a policeman.
So it's a special, he was getting a special award for having been on the job for 20 years.
Yeah. Okay. And this is my stepmother that my father, and in Japan, most of the time, marriage is arranged in those days anyway. So my stepmother and my father were arranged by his older sister. There's always somebody who say, hey, these people are probably going to be okay. They check the background, economic or
So if you need a
status.
boyfriend or a girlfriend, talk to Mrs. Fletcher and I'll
Arrange it for her. Yeah. It's okay.
Okay, look at this. Just one prefecture, but look at all the different towns.
In Japan, I'll tell you that policemen in this country, you just hired by the town and you stay there. But in Japan, my father was actually hired by the prefecture.
Like state police.
Yeah, yeah. So he had to move around every couple of years. The reason, can you imagine, guess why that is? Anybody? Why Japanese policemen have to move around so
Anybody
much?
know? Why do you think?
What do you think? No? Okay. Well, the reason is if you stay in one spot too much, policemen and the power broker of that town become too friendly, and it's sometimes hard to enforce the law.
Okay,
So
so they move
that's-
you around
Move
so you don't
me
make
around.
friends with the bad guys.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, now I came to this country as 17-year-old high school student, and this is my host family mother, host family father. And then I had to tell you something, that I'm speaking English today, but that time I thought I was very good in English because I was a very good student. And all the teachers said that I was, good English student. And then she told me, Mrs. Kaplan told me, when you get to San Francisco, make sure you call me so we can come to Philadelphia and pick you up. Because those days we did not have cell phone, and then, very expensive to call. So I said, okay, I'll call you. When I picked it up, the public telephone, so I had no idea the operator was saying. In other words, I could read and write, but I had no training of listening with my ear. So I was so panicked, but I couldn't call her. So I got on the phone, airplane, and came to Philadelphia. It was a good thing they showed up
Yeah.
without my phone call. So.
Yes.
Next one. This one also, it's same lady, Mrs. Kaplan and Mrs. Kaplan. I gained the sister,
And a brother.
Margie, and Goldie, brother, that's me. And then these are her
Auntie.
parents.
Oh, her
Yeah.
Grandma.
It's a grandparent.
So a little girl who had only a father and no mother and no brothers or sisters, she comes to Atlantic City, New Jersey. She's got a
All
nice,
these
big
people.
American Jewish family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was very wonderful. And those people might be interesting. These people came from Russia. So, yeah, so their English was with a very, very heavy accent until they died. They just, unless you come to this country as a young kid, you just don't lose that, accent. Okay, this is the high school picture.
Does she look like a typical high school student? In those days?
Yeah. In 1960. Look very happy.
Okay,
Yeah.
next.
Next one.
Oh,
Then I went home to Japan, went to junior college, then transferred to this Denison University in Ohio.
so she was in New Jersey for high school. She goes back to Japan, then transfers to a college here in the United States in Ohio. This was a good move for her. I'll show you why. Ooh, look at that. Yes, you have a boyfriend.
I met my present, my first and the last husband.
Okay, so boys and girls, you are all scholars. You're all college bound. Great. Maybe you'll meet your future husband or wife. It worked for Yasue, so get to college. Next.
Next one. Yeah. Now here I'm wearing, this is a college. I'm wearing my kimono with a stick-on obi. And then I'm
Yeah.
wearing Zori here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next,
Okay.
graduation.
Graduation, my host family, Mrs. Kaplan, came to attend my graduation.
Don't you love the hairdo of Mrs. Kaplan?
Yeah, this in 1972, so you can see the different hairdos and, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Next,
Next one, yeah. And those days, the Vietnam War is going on. And so lots of people were protesting against the war and then decided, well, we're going to go against the tradition. We're not going to wear cap and gown. So the graduate, like this, Bruce and me, did not wear cap and gown. Only the professors who wore those traditional cap and gown.
They were rebels.
Yeah, we were all rebels in the 70s.
Yeah.
Next one. And that's my wedding.
Oh.
The man who our friend was supposed to take pictures of the wedding, found out he forgot to put the film in the camera. So this picture was taken by the newspaper cameraman who was invited to snap a little pictures to put it in a newspaper announcement. So at least I have something.
Yep.
I have something. Next one. Now she also came. It was a terrible snowy day, but she and a couple other people drove up from New Jersey, and always the highways are closing because of the snow, but somehow she made it to me. And she really became my mother, you know.
Okay, if I could interrupt just a moment. Mrs. Kitayama, can I keep them?
Yeah.
All right, keep talking.
Okay. So, and here, almost I don't recognize because you know how men change.
Oh, and women don't change at all.
Women don't change that much, but men do.
Next.
Next one. Yeah, and then we
Another
moved to graduation. This is the Arizona, University of Arizona I went, and it's graduation.
So she graduated in New Jersey from high school, in Ohio for her bachelor's, and in Arizona for her master's.
Yes, yeah.
Good education, all over. Yes.
Yeah, this is my parents, my stepmother and my father. In Japan, if you could live to be 75 years old, former police officers were given award, Medal of Honor by the government. And this is their very special day. You see, it's all formal wear, and you can...
Can we see the next picture so we can see the medal?
Yeah.
That's what he got.
Yeah, this is called the Medal of Rising Sun. You can kind of see, this is red, and then, you know,
Very good.
it's a sun, so that's what they got.
Next.
Yeah, next one. Oh, this
What's
one,
this?
I became a citizen of the United States.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Next one. And this is my hometown. My hometown is the capital of the state, prefecture, and that used to be a, castle town. When, you know, this castle, does it look very old? Yes. This is built 1611.
Wow.
What century is 1611?
What century is
What
16?
century is 1611?
Right, 17.
17th century. Okay, 17th century. The unique thing about this castle is that there are only 12 original castles in Japan. Original meaning they did not repair with cement, they did not use nails to build a castle, that kind of thing. Original form. This is one of 12 original castles in Japan.
Yes.
This is my family, long time ago. My kids are already big and married and have children. But this is, Chelsea was still baby, and this year is probably 3 or 4.
Okay, so that's when they were in America, and now she takes her children to Japan to meet
Yeah.
the grandfather.
Okay. And my father and Chelsea, the baby. Yeah. Okay. And you can see the Japanese
The screen in the back with the
screen.
painting,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's called Kusuma, and it just slides. It's a room divider. Yeah. Okay. Next. Yeah. This, remember I told you about my nanny? Nanny came and raised me for 5 years. Well, I lost touch with her for 50 years. And then in 2004, I decided to look for her. When my parents went to a nursing home, I thought I have to hurry up and find her. Well, 50 years later, I found her at the nursing home in a different town. And she had a touch of dementia.
Do you know what dementia
You know
is?
what dementia is?
Yeah.
You forget lots of things, forgetful. And so I wasn't sure, but finally she recognized me. And we had a good cry and a laughter, and I finally thanked her for all these years for raising me. And so this is quite a dramatic day for me. This is just a couple years ago, that boy-looking guy became that.
Ah, see? That boy she met in college, still married to him.
We've been married for 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's,
long time. And then,
she's with another man.
this is a book that I wrote about my life, Japan and the United States. And then Mr. Fletcher helped me to self-publish. And I would like to leave this book for you to read at the library.
So she's donating an autographed copy of the book to our school library.
Yeah, and I
So you
make
get-
sure lots of Japanese customs and stuff is inside. So even if you are not interested in my life, you will learn lots of Japanese customs and how people live, that kind of stuff.
Also, every one of you, when you leave today, are getting a little book that we made up, and you'll have some of the stories that are in there. Okay? But be sure to check it out in the library. Okay. Next. Oh, if you have questions and answers in orange, come line up now. Quickly. Quickly. There should be 9 students lining up, 1 through 9. If you have an orange card. Okay, when you come up to the microphone, please say your first name, last name, grade, then read your question. Are we ready? Let's go.
Binro Hegman, I'm in 6th grade, and my question is, did you have a boyfriend in Japan?
Oh, boyfriend. Well, I came to this country as high school student. In those days, I don't know about now, but those days, we did not have boyfriend or dating or anything like that. But I had somebody I liked, and we corresponded for a while. But
Okay, she has a gift for you.
I have a gift.
Number 2 question.
You can pick one. Okay, it's a crane.
My name's Alejandra Shore, I'm a 9th grader, and how hard was it for you to adapt to an American lifestyle?
Oh, that's a very easy for me to adjust the American lifestyle. I have a feeling I may have lived in this country in my different life. Yeah, the minute I saw that my adopted family, I was
You felt comfortable.
Yeah,
Good.
thank you.
All right, here's our 3rd question.
My name is Daniela Soriano, I'm in 8th grade, and what are the schools like in Japan?
What is the what?
What are the schools like in Japan?
Oh, school. Oh, good. Okay. We have 6th 3-3-4 system, we call it. First 6 is elementary school, the next 3 is the middle school, and those are 9 years is compulsory education.
That means you have to do those 9 years.
Yeah, and then out of that, about 82% of them will go to high school. And in order to go to high school, you have to take an exam to get in. And then since I was born during the baby boomers, it was very difficult. We have to work very hard. But these days, the children's numbers are so low that competition is not as bad as before.
So the system is very much like we have here, except you automatically get to go to high school. They have to pass a test to see if they're qualified to go in.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, she's got another part too.
Okay.
Are there bullies at school in Japan? And if so, what does the school do to stop the bullying?
Oh, this is a question, yeah. You know, bullies at Japanese schools are a big, big problem. And nobody punches, you know, like when I was in school, bullying means somebody punch you, kick you, that kind of stuff. No, not anymore. They are social media bullying. So it's very difficult for even the teachers or parents to know what's going on. And it's very sad to report, but rate of suicide in children, even elementary school children, is getting higher. It's a big problem, and they have
So you have to have good open communication with the adults.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah.
Next.
Okay, you're welcome.
My name is Brianna Duenas. I'm in 7th grade. And did you have a job in Japan or USA?
What were your jobs when you were in Japan?
In Japan, as a student, I taught English when I was going to college. Yeah.
Okay, and did you have any jobs in the United States?
Yes, in the United States, right after I got married, I worked for a court system, a superior court in Vermont. You know, judges and lawyers and like a court system. Yeah.
Thank you. Next.
There you go.
Great.
My name is Andres Rodriguez, and I'm in 6th grade. And what do you miss the most about your home in Japan now that you live in the United States?
Japanese bath.
A Japanese bath.
Japanese bath. In this country, I don't, yeah. Yeah. I guess.
Okay, we'll talk to you about the
Okay,
bath
later.
in a few
Yeah,
slides.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm Annabelle Nick, and I'm in 6th grade. And how many people usually live together in a family home in Japan?
Oh, okay. In the family, usually mother, father, children.
How many?
But, how many?
What's the average family?
Oh, four people.
Oh, four. Two
Four
children,
people.
2 adults.
Yeah, right, yeah. But if you go to a countryside, grandma and grandpa will be a part of that family. So big city and the country are a little different. Yeah.
Next. You guys are doing a good job with these questions. Great.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Evelyn Moore. I'm in 7th grade. And what is an American food that you hate even though most Americans love it?
Licorice.
Ah, I agree. Let's listen.
My name is Erica Gray, and I'm in 7th grade. What is the biggest obstacle in your life that you have had to overcome?
I would say when I wanted to marry my husband, my parents did against it, my father especially, because it's against the tradition. On top of that, I was only child, so traditionally, I should get a husband come to my house. He would change his name to my last name. That was a tradition, so that my last name Aoki would be continued. So I actually left Japan without my father's blessing and married, so I was a rebel.
Oh,
but I'm glad that,
Yeah. 45 years, I think it paid off.
yeah, 40, you're welcome.
Hi, my name is Christina Egan and I am an 8th grader. And how would you feel if one of your kids wanted to go to Japan, get married, and live there for the rest of their life?
That's a wonderful question because, like I said, I was a rebel like that, so I cannot just turn around and say to my kids, you can't do that, what I did. You know? So I think that everybody has a freedom to marry somebody they love, and if it's far away, it's kind of sad for me, but that's
It's
what
their
we did. Yeah, that's their life. So
Thank you.
Thank you. That's
Thank you, you
wonderful.
did a great job, everybody. Now we're going to continue with the slideshow, and then we'll have more questions and answers at the end. Transportation.
Uh-huh. This is the train station. It's next.
You know what that's called, class? Bullet train.
Yeah, bullet train. Yeah. The Japanese trains are so precise, and it says 2:35. They come 2:35.
Don't be late or you'll miss the train.
It's very safe and precise. So.
Okay, next.
Next,
There's bullet train again.
yeah, just the picture.
I like in front of it. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Next.
Oh, okay.
Automobiles. Now, I drive a Honda, used to drive a Toyota, so I knew those two came from. I found this, but then I saw a list. There are 16 kinds of cars that we drive in America that are Japanese.
Ah, I see.
Big business over there.
Yeah.
Next.
Next one. This is typical Japanese home. You can see this, this is called tatami. And that's a shoji. This is paper, but you can see it's a white paper, so the light from outside will come into the room. And, you know, it's
So it's not made of glass, these are inside doors. They divide up the rooms with these sliding doors that are made of like paper screens.
And in Japan, when you describe the size of the room, we say 6 mat room or 8 mat room or that kind of thing, so that you can see right away how big is the room is. Yeah.
So these first pictures we're showing you are what typical old style homes look like in Japan. You can see this would be where this would be like the living room where they just hang out. You see their little tables and stuff. That's an old
Very
kitchen.
old, yeah. Farm family, I believe. This is the fire. It's always the fire's on with a kettle over, so you can always have tea. The Japanese drink tea all day long.
Next.
Next one. Now
Remember
this
she
one.
taught you about that? This, ladies and gentlemen, this is a public bath. In old Japan, you did not take a bath at your house. In old Japan, you went to a building in your neighborhood where you took a bath with your neighbors.
Yeah,
Now this one isn't a beautiful one at a resort,
yeah,
but you're in there with strangers.
yeah. Could be strangers. Oh, it looks
Or it
like
could
they're
be
friends.
family and friends, yeah.
Yeah. In Japan, taking bath with your family is quite acceptable, and we don't have that inhibition like we have in this country. Being naked in a bath is not sexual connotation at all. It's just a relaxation. So that's one of the things that I was shocked to learn, that it is not so in this country.
I've only been to a public bath in Japan once, and usually in Japan, women are not fat, and you had to walk in this room absolutely naked. And as I walked in the room, you could have heard all the women in the pools going, oh! And I thought, oh no, and I thought, I just want to get in the water as fast as I can. I got in the water and I thought, I'll just sit down in the water and I'll look cool. but I'm so fat, I float. So I'd sit down, and I'd go, whoop, pop up, and then I'd sort of get to the bottom, get my butt down to the bottom. Oh yeah, I'm having fun. Whoop. Very dramatic.
Next one. Yeah.
These are homes now. You saw traditional homes from before. This would be in a neighborhood now, a lot of bicycles in Japan.
Bicycles.
You'll notice very little, this is in a city, very little room for a yard. Houses are very close together. Remember she talked about how crowded it is? Next.
Yeah.
This is obviously these people have a little more money, but again, you don't build out, you build up. Next.
Little more modern. This is the modern home.
Not a school teacher's salary. Yeah, next.
This is the apartment complex.
And you see, you hang your clothes out, don't put them in the dryer, hang your clothes out. So lots of apartments, especially in the Tokyo area. Next. But that giant thing right there, that's apartment buildings in downtown. No yard to play in. Next. This is more middle class, in the suburbs kind of apartments.
This is Japanese home.
Okay, your bed is off the ground, right? And you have blankets, you got a mattress and blankets and a pillow. Not Japan.
And this is called futon. You've heard of the word futon in this country now. This is futon. And originally, these are the futon. And it is one set of futon to put down on the floor. And then you got a pillow. And then on top of it, another futon. And so...
She's saying futon, by the way.
Futon, oh, okay. And then this is... you bring this out to go to sleep, but then when you get up in the morning, you put these things into a closet. So the whole room became a living room. So living room and a bedroom are the same space, and that's how we conserve space, because Japanese houses are very small.
So every day before you go to school, fold up your mattress, put it in the closet.
Yes.
You ready for bed? Open the closet, take out your mattress. Next.
Here again, those are tatamis.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. This is a very nice house.
Yes.
You got this fancy light.
And you see the screens again.
Yeah, and then
So this
shoji.
is, yeah, not a school teacher again. Yeah, next.
This is very fancy. Yeah.
You see?
Here.
And you can see how one room moves into the next room, that goes into the next room. Next. Kitchen.
Yeah, kitchen.
Women in America want a big kitchen, right? What I learned in Japan, they make wonderful meals in a teeny tiny kitchen. They don't always have an oven. This is a typical kitchen in a middle class area. See how small it is? Next.
Next.
There's another kitchen, a little more modern.
Yeah.
See the refrigerator, and it has a stove. Okay, next. Bathrooms. Ladies and gentlemen, before World War II, they didn't have Western toilets. Everyone, men and women, you would go into the bathroom where there'd be a hole, and usually a little block on each side. You put your foot on this block, your foot on that block, squat down, do your business.
Do your business.
That's what the old toilets were. Now comes the war, we're gonna modernize Japan. In a public, as you can tell by how it's set up, this is in a public bathroom. This whole, would you sit on that? No.
No, you don't.
You put your foot on either side, squat down, do your business.
Yeah. This is still a Western style in our mind because it's flush toilet. The one that she described before the war, it's not a flush toilet. You know, it's like a, what's the word?
Porta potty.
Porta potty. Okay.
Okay, so this would, that would be in a, this wouldn't be in a home. This would be like in a park or a public place. Next.
Right, next one.
My favorite invention, I had to search and search to find this. Listen to me. at your house, when you go to the bathroom, when you flush the toilet, that tank behind the seat, there's water in it. You flush the toilet, water drains from that tank, and that's how the toilet gets flushed. And then more water fills up the tank again, right? Check this out. On top of the toilet is a wash basin with a little spigot with a handle. So, you go to the bathroom, you can wash your hands right there on top of the toilet, and then the water goes down and it goes into the tank. So that the next time you flush, the soapy water that you used to wash your hands with is now going to help flush out the waste. You don't have to have a sink and a toilet. I think that's a great invention.
It's a conserving water too.
Yeah. We need that here.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Wait, go back. Another thing is here, it says Japanese word here. The first one says small, another one says large, and you can pretty
figure
much
out.
tell what that's for, okay?
You want a little water to flush it out or a lot of water?
Lot of
All right,
water.
next. All right, we talked about the public bath. At your house, when you want to take a bath, you take off your clothes, you get in the bathtub, use soap to get clean. To the Japanese, that is disgusting. You're going to sit in dirty water with dirty soap film? Yuck, that's not clean. In Japan, whether you go to a bathhouse or in your own home, this is in a person's home, the floor is tiled outside the tub. You fill up, you have like a little shower handle or a little dish with water. You use the soap and water and sponge standing outside the bathtub. You completely clean yourself, rinse yourself off. Now you're all clean, right? And all your dirt has gone down the drain. Now you get into that bathtub and you veg out and relax. That makes sense, doesn't it? Yeah, okay.
And then in a bathtub, you do not bring your towel or soap for obvious reasons, right? And in a family situation, everybody have to take a bath in that water here, so you have to keep it very clean. Everybody washes out the dirty body outside and drain the dirty water out, and then soak. And then everybody, in the family.
So we'll use the same bathtub water for the whole day for everybody to
One
take,
day,
and then drain it out.
Next day, drains.
There's another view of, you see what I mean about where you wash off before you get into
You
the
sit
bathtub?
here and then wash yourself up.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Next. This is at a public bath. They have locker rooms. So you see the lady leaving there. You go in, you pay your money, you go into the locker room, take off all your clothes, and walk into the room with everybody staring at you. Oh, I'm sorry.
Nobody's staring at you because everybody's naked. When you are the only person clothed and then other people are naked, you feel very strange.
Okay, next. Okay, some of the public baths are very fancy and decorated.
Look how big it is.
I know, there's two of them there. And then the next picture
This one.
has
There's
many.
so many of them. It's a different kind of a temperature or the water may have a different kind of things.
Yeah. And by the way, when they say hot water, they mean, let's cook the old lady. Yeah, I'm telling you, I felt like a lobster. Okay, next.
Next.
Castles.
Castle with cherry blossoms.
Okay, next.
Another one.
More we're just showing you some of the old castles.
This one is a museum.
Yeah, this is a museum in Ueno Park. Ueno Park is like their central park, and the home where I stay when I go is near Ueno Park in Tokyo, and that's a beautiful museum, and you'll see other pictures of Ueno Park as we go. We're going to talk about religion, the two main religions. Shinto is the ancient religion. Okay, so many generations ago, everybody was Shinto. Nowadays, there's other religion too. So we'll start with Shinto. It always has like a little entrance type archway. okay?
Torii?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Before you go into the shrine, you've got that little archway.
Yeah.
Next, this is a wedding couple, see your hat? They're getting ready to go to a shrine for a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Another archway. When we were in Japan, this goes up a hill to the shrine, and I looked up there and I said to Mrs. Fletcher, I'll stay here, you and the camera go on up.
It's
Smart.
almost like a tunnel.
Yeah, it was straight uphill.
Yeah.
Okay, next. I wonder who that could be. Anyway, lots of shrines to visit in Japan.
Mrs. Fletcher and Mr. Fletcher.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, next.
Next.
If you are Catholic and you're worried about something and you want to say a special prayer, you'll sometimes go to your church and you'll light a candle, right? Pay a little bit of money to light a candle that I hope Uncle Harry feels better. I hope that somebody has a safe journey, you know, all that kind of stuff. In Japan, when you go to the shrines, you buy a wish or a prayer or something, and you hang it outside. So if I said, I want Ms. Yasue's presentation to be perfect, I would pay the money, I've got my wish, and I would hang it on the shrine. And it must have worked because she's perfect. Next. Who is that guy up at the top? What's that statue? Somebody said it. Buddha. So the two main religions, Shinto and Buddha. So this is the giant Buddha. As you can see, it's a very popular tourist spot. So now we're going to show you some other pictures of this religion.
Now this one, can I say something? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 5-layered pagoda. And pagoda is a, originally this kept Buddha's remain, not the whole body, but you know, they cremate, so the bones are kept in the pagoda. It used to be a mound, I understand. But when the Buddhist religion traveled to China and Korea, it became Chinese architecture like this. And this symbolizes the element of, let's see, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The inside is hollow. Inside is hollow, so you cannot climb all the way to the top. But this is more like symbol of faith rather than a practical building. Okay?
Next. There is a larger Buddhist temple. You can see the people visiting. Again, you see the same architecture on the roof line like you saw on the last picture. Next.
This is a giant zori. Why do people make this huge zori? Well, in olden times they made this to ask God to protect the village.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are hung on a wall at the same place where you saw that statue. Those sandals are supposed to be Buddhist sandals, and they're about as tall as this building, from here to the ceiling.
Very, very long.
Okay,
Yeah.
we only have 20 minutes left, so we're going to get through this fast.
Okay. These are little children, you can see.
Okay, so this is a typical kindergarten going on a field trip.
Everybody's wearing the hat.
Yep. Okay, next.
Right?
It's tradition. Your teacher comes into the room, you bow to your teacher. I think we're going to implement that here at Tomas. Okay, next.
This is the lunchtime.
You do not go to the cafeteria to eat your lunch. You eat your lunch in the classroom. Also, you go from class to class to class. You go to one classroom. The teacher comes to you. So your English teacher comes, your math teacher comes, your history teacher comes.
At the lunchtime, the teacher will eat with you, so you better eat the whole thing up.
Next. I want you to see everybody wears uniforms and you don't fool around in school. Very serious. Next. How do you like those stilts? Physical activity, very important. You like that?
Very skilled kids.
Next. Again, they take, this is kids more your age, they take their work very seriously. Nobody would cheat on a test. Nobody would not do their homework. They take it very seriously. Next. Okay, I'm sorry, Miss Cindy, we do not need a custodian in Japan. The students are in charge of cleaning the school. So I found pictures of them mopping, sweeping. My favorite picture was a building that was like 3 stories up, and a kid was sitting on the windowsill with it open, leaning outside to clean the windows on the outside.
We do this every day for 20 minutes before you go home, and start from elementary school all the way to college. I went to college in Japan. I had to clean the school. But the thing is that you take the shoes off. These kids are wearing their special shoes only
Like a
to be
slipper.
used,
Yeah.
only used inside the house, inside the classroom.
Next. I want these next 2 pictures, I just want you to notice, everybody wears a uniform. Also, next picture. Also, once you get out of school, you would be surprised, wherever your job is, they usually wear a uniform.
Yeah.
You work at a bank, everybody at the bank wears the same uniform. You work at a department store, everybody at the department store.
When you use uniform, you are representing your school, so you do not act badly.
No horseplay.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it. So, next one. Yeah.
Ah, food. How many of you been to a sushi bar? Yeah?
Oh, there's a lot of
Okay,
people.
we're gonna go through this fast. Let's look at food.
Okay.
What is it?
Udon.
Udon. Next.
Sushi.
Sushi. Next.
Teriyaki.
Next.
Soba. Soba.
Next.
Tempura.
Yeah. Next.
Sushi.
Yeah,
California roll.
roll.
Right.
And,
Another sushi.
okay? All right, or if you don't want to go to a sushi bar, if your family goes to a restaurant, I don't know if you can see it, but underneath the table, it's dug down. So you sit on the cushion, but you put your legs down in
There's
the
a
hole.
hole here, hole.
Otherwise, you fall over backwards, I guess.
You can put the legs down so it's more comfortable.
Okay, next. All right, bakery. When you get off the subway, you're underground. You don't walk upstairs to get above ground. You walk through a department store. And of course, they always like to put things like the bakeries and snack foods right at the beginning of the department store. Pretty smart, right? So there's a bakery and a department store by the subway. Next. Festivals. We all like junk food when we go to the carnivals. See? They've got junk food there too at the festivals. Next. All right. Anybody see a symbol they know? Starbucks. Even in Japan,
Yeah.
and this isn't a big city, it's a college town, and they said they just put in this new Starbucks, and the students are starting to get to class late. Next. Where do you want to go when you visit Tokyo? Disney Tokyo. You'll notice Cinderella's Japanese. Did you know that? Next. Aha. Okay, next.
It's small.
All right, sumo wrestling. It's the national sport. If you're quiet, you'll get to hear the next thing. Next. Watch these 2 guys, especially the one on your right. Watch. But even though he lost the match, this is what we like. He is the loser, but he still comes up and thanks the crowd. And I acknowledge you're the winner, I'm the loser.
And
He's not a
then you
bad
receive
sport.
some kind of award.
Yep. Okay, next. Baseball. American baseball is very big, and some of the best players on American team come from. Okay, watch this. Her husband filmed this because he noticed on the other side the different teams would have their own cheering section. So if you're for the Dodgers, you sit in this section wearing this. If you're pretty
They
cool.
take turns to cheer.
Yeah, next. Anybody know what it's called? Tokyo Tower, downtown Tokyo. Next. I want to show you how busy it is and how crowded it is. You see the train system, you see the cars underneath, you see all the businesses. Okay, next. Wayno Park, cherry blossom, picnic. Remember I told you Wayno Park is like their Central Park? Next. Another picture of Wayno Park, downtown. Just beautiful. They love nature. Okay, next. Again, even at night, look how crowded the streets are. Those people are standing in the middle of the street. Next. Again.
See how crowded they are.
What do you
It's a
see?
McDonald's.
Yeah, Bakadanaru. So they're all going to Bakadanaru. Okay, next.
This is a festival for Shinto, and this is a portable shrine. They bring it out and then carry it around the street. And this festival is Kanda Myoji. That's the name of the shrine.
Okay,
Next one.
next. Again, look how crowded it is, even late at night. It's so busy, so your eyes are going up. Next. This is sort of like a final shot of a skyline downtown. You'll see how
Tokyo.
crowded everything is downtown Tokyo. Old buildings, new buildings, beautiful modern architecture. Isn't that cool? Okay, next. 7-Eleven, convenience store.
Lawson, yeah.
Yeah, this is like a 7-Eleven. That's where people do a lot of their shopping. They work all day, they just run in and pick up what they need for dinner and go home and eat. Next. Now.
This is Shimane Prefecture. Around my home, you can see such a difference from the big city. This is the countryside, and my husband was on a bicycle and then took it with a cell phone.
Okay, so we showed you what the big city looks like, but this, look, you don't even see another car.
Country.
It's out in the country, much more peaceful. You see old homes, and you also see more modern homes.
I don't see any people walking either.
But the last shot, you're going to see rice paddies, right?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
This is May, so it's already, rice is planted.
Okay.
It's getting earlier and
Right
earlier.
there, right?
Yeah, these are,
That's the rice
yeah,
paddies.
rice paddies, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Next.
Next.
Okay, this time her husband is on the bullet train.
No, this looks like a local train.
A local train,
Yeah,
okay.
probably, kind of
So
slow.
you kind of see what it looks like as you go
The
through the country.
countryside, yeah.
Okay, next.
Japan. It's a place of great mysticism. It's rich with culture and tradition. It's a land of honor and respect. A nation that has given us ninja and samurai. And now, for your entertainment, some interesting facts about Japan.
Let's see what you'll remember from this.
Most cultures have a traditional meal when celebrating the holidays. The USA has turkey for Thanksgiving or pumpkin-based desserts for Halloween. In Japan, the typical feast on Christmas Eve is Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Christmas Eve at KFC.
On the topic of food, Japan also has basashi, consisting of onions, ginger, and slices of raw horse meat.
Raw pork.
I would mostly say nay to this, but you give it a try. Honor is a big thing in Japan, so much so that when the Titanic sank, the sole Japanese survivor was actually labeled a coward in his country for not dying with the other passengers. Have you ever seen a square fruit? No? Well, then it moves to Japan. Round atoms are not very efficient when
Look,
comes to storing and shipping. So the solution? Square watermelons.
Isn't that cool?
Farmers actually grow square watermelons as they're much easier to stack, naturally.
We need that.
With street racing scene being so popular in Japan, with its racing, drifting, and modifying of vehicles, the police don't bother chasing down fleeing speedsters anymore, as they know they'll never catch them. The new approach is paintball guns. The cops fire paintballs at fleeing vehicles. This allows them to be more easily identified later.
So they don't have to chase them. Come get you later. We know who you are. We painted your car.
Work ethic is a big thing. So much so that if you were caught sleeping on the job, it wouldn't actually be a bad thing. In fact, it's considered acceptable, as most companies would view it as exhaustion from working too hard. This puts a whole new spin on sleeping your way at the top. Japanese trains are
Okay, watch this, you guys.
punctuality. The average delay on a train is never more than about 18 seconds. And their trains really do lead the way in technology. There's a train that literally floats above the tracks using magnetism. It can reach speeds of 500 kilometers. Japan has such a dense population of commuters that when trains are overcrowded, sometimes railway staff are expected to cram
How are we gonna get all those people in?
inside the trains.
What are we gonna do to
They
get
are
all those
truly
people?
professional people pushers out there.
He's a people pusher. He pushes them in the train.
Vending machines. Now this is big. In Tokyo, vending machines sell everything. Some of the items on offer are beer, cigarettes, canned foods, pornographic magazines, clothing, umbrellas, meat, used underwear. This is just a few. Really, trust me on this. There's used underwear vending machines in Tokyo. With such a healthy diet of seafood and greenery, the Japanese people are some of the healthiest on the planet. So it's not surprising that there are currently over 50,000 people in Japan who are over 100 years old. With this in mind, Japan also sells more adult diapers than baby diapers. But still, well done. Nothing can stop Japanese engineering. There are some ancient buildings that have survived wars and earthquakes, and some new buildings that simply astound. And no, I'm not talking about the Tokyo Tower, the Gate Tower building. This building has a highway that passes right through it.
The highway goes through the
Talk
building.
about threading the needle. Right through.
Crazy. Okay, if you have the green card, line up really fast. We only have 2 minutes. Okay, everybody, we're almost there. All right. Who has the number 1 card? Come on up.
Hi, I'm Valeria Ibarra. I'm a 7th grader, and my question is the cost of living about the same in Japan as it is in the USA?
Cost of living.
Cost of living,
I think it's a little more expensive there.
probably a little bit more expensive, yeah.
Yeah, because space is a
Yes, living spaces.
My name is Alexis Sanchez, and I'm in 8th grade.
You're welcome.
Do all Japanese men have to serve for a time in the military?
No, in the Constitution, our Constitution says we cannot have military, Army, Navy, that kind of thing. So we do not have any draft or requirement, but we do have a self-defense force, but it's all voluntary, so
Next.
here you go.
My name is Anthony.
Grade.
Grade 7. How do you spend your free time?
How do I spend free time?
Reading and writing her book.
TV program.
She has a lot of friends,
Yeah,
and she travels a lot.
yeah.
My name is Bernarda Vargas and I'm in 6th grade, and my question is, in Japan, how old do you have to be to drive a car, drink, vote, or get married?
Okay, driving is 18, motorcycle 16.
Vote.
vote right now, it's 18. It used to be 20. That's why the big ceremony. But now it's lowered to 18. And then what was it? Drinking 20.
And getting married?
Getting married 18, but with a parental consent, you can marry at 16.
Next. Again.
What inspires you the most?
What was
What
it?
inspires you the most?
Oh my goodness. Maybe when I hear people's kindness to each other on television news, there's just too much bad news these days, but when I hear sometimes people being kind to each other, that gets me.
My name is Yasue Ramirez, I'm in 6th grade. What are some inventions that they have in Japan that I think that they should bring to the USA?
What invention they have?
I would say toilet because of the,
With the water on top?
yes, but also the Japanese toilet has a seat is heated.
Yeah.
And then it
You
washes.
never have to sit on the full toilet.
It washes front and back and everything. So
Okay.
it's great. And also a bullet train. I like the train to come here.
Okay, so toilet, bullet train, I want to add one more. When I was in Japan, what impressed me, you know how you have those side mirrors on the side of your car? I saw them with little baby windshield wipers. I thought that was so cute.
Thank you for that. Yes.
My name is Katia Pedrosa and I'm in 7th grade. How often do most Japanese people wear medical masks over their mouths when they go out?
They wear when they have a cold or the other people have cold, going into a crowded area, they wear masks. And it's a very common occurrence and nobody is self-conscious.
Thank you. Next.
My name is Katia Rodriguez, I'm an 8th grader, and do you feel that you have more freedom and a better quality of life in the USA than you did in Japan, and would you and your husband want to live in Japan?
The safety part, I feel Japan is superior to the United States. We do not have gun. Nobody has gun except the policeman. And so very rare that, you get killed by a gun. And so...
Would you ever consider the two of you moving to Japan?
Probably not. The reason is I have family here, children and grandchildren. But, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, and our last question?
I'm Kate.
Name and grade.
Kate Sweet, and I am in 6th grade. My question is, what is your greatest accomplishment?
I don't know.
I think, I can answer that. I think your greatest accomplishment is you came from a childhood that could have turned out bad because of your mother dying on your 2nd birthday and having to live alone and stuff, but yet you turn all that into positive things and now you inspire other people. So I think surviving to be the person you are now. Wouldn't you agree with me, you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, next.
That's it.
All right, you've got to, everybody, let's hear it. What is ready? You're gonna learn to say thank you. Here we go.
Arigato. Arigato.
Arigato. Okay, and one more.
Sayonara.